June 5th, 1944, somewhere in the English Channel. My name is Thomas Carter, 24 years old, and my weapon is not a rifle, but a camera. The deck of the troop ship is crowded with soldiers cleaning their gear, writing last letters, or just staring at the dark water in silence. I move among them with my camera hanging from my neck, trying to look like I belong here, even though part of me still feels like a tourist in hell's waiting room. The sky is gray, the sea is cold, and in a few hours everything will change forever. This camera has been with me in North Africa, Sicily, and Italy, and somehow it survived when so many men did not. Its metal body is dented, the leather is peeling, and the shutter sometimes sticks in the cold, but it is still my lifeline. Every scratch on it is a place where I should have been paying more attention to bullets instead of framing a shot. I clean the lens with a piece of shirt, more out of habit than need, and wonder what it will be forced to witness tomorrow. My hands are steady now, but I know that will not last long. From the rail I see more ships than I thought the world even possessed. Destroyers, transports, landing craft, each one loaded with men and machines and fear. They stretch to the horizon in both directions, like an iron curtain slowly closing on the coast of France. For once, even as a photographer, I do not raise my camera. The scale is beyond anything a single frame can hold. The sight burns itself into my memory without needing film. This is history happening, and I am just a small witness to something much larger than myself. Before dawn, they push us down rope ladders into a landing craft that bounces on the waves like a toy. The air is thick with diesel, sweat, and the quiet prayers of men trying not to sound afraid. I am wedged between a kid from Iowa who clutches his rifle like it is a life preserver and a sergeant who keeps checking his watch as if punctuality matters where we are going. My fingers keep brushing the cool metal of the camera, and I ask myself if taking pictures while men die is bravery or something much uglier. The engine roars, the ramp creaks, and we lurch forward into the unknown. When the ramp finally crashes down, the world explodes into noise and water and light. Bullets hit the front of the craft with a sound like handfuls of gravel thrown against a door. The first men rush forward and vanish into the surf, some stumbling, some already floating face down before they can even take a breath. I stumble after them, half running, half falling, my camera banging against my chest, hoping the sea does not decide to claim me before the enemy does. The water is ice cold and red in places, and I am not sure if that is blood or rust from the landing craft. On the sand, the world shrinks to a narrow tunnel of survival and duty. Machine gun fire cuts the air above us. Shells burst in the water, and men shout words that are lost in the roar. Instinct tells me to stay flat, to make myself as small as possible. But the part of me that was trained in classrooms pushes my head up to look for a picture. I kneel behind a metal obstacle, raise the camera with shaking hands, and press the shutter as men sprint past, some making it, some not, the frame catching a moment that their families will never see. I reload the film with dirt under my fingernails and try again. The medics move like ghosts in the chaos, appearing at the side of the fallen almost before they hit the sand. They drag men behind bits of cover, press bandages into places where blood pours out faster than hope. One medic shouts at me to help, and for a moment I hate myself for hesitating, torn between the urge to drop the camera and the knowledge that my job is to show the world what this costs. I end up doing both badly. I hold a man's hand while snapping a single photo of his face as he whispers a name I do not recognize, then goes quiet, forever. The shutter clicks, and another life becomes a frozen image. By afternoon, the tide on the beach has turned, and not just in the literal sense. Groups of German soldiers stumble out from ruined bunkers, hands raised, faces pale beneath grime and smoke. Some of our men glare at them with an anger that could easily become something worse, but the officers keep it contained, pointing the prisoners toward the shoreline. I stand to one side, documenting the moment when men who were once faceless targets become human again. Frightened boys who are suddenly more afraid of us than we are of them. In the viewfinder, they all look the same, tired, scared, and very far from home. Days later, we move inland, and the war changes from open beaches to narrow village streets. Norman houses with shattered windows and broken roofs line the road like damaged teeth. The battle has passed, but it has left behind smashed carts, dead livestock, and the lingering smell of fire and explosives. I walk in the center of the street with my camera, framing shots of soldiers stepping cautiously around debris, while French civilians peek from doorways, trying to decide whether liberation looks any different from occupation. A young boy watches us pass, his eyes empty of anything that looks like hope. In one small farmhouse, a family invites a squad of our men inside, more out of fear than enthusiasm. The table is set with what little they have, but the soldiers add their own rations, metal cans, and hard biscuits, turning into a shared meal under the dim light of an oil lamp. A private offers a piece of chocolate to a little girl who has not seen such a thing in years. And for a moment, the war is not in this room. I capture the moment from the doorway. The girl's smile, the soldier's gentle hand, the mother's eyes that are both grateful and haunted. This photograph might be the only beauty I create this entire war. A week later, we pass a temporary cemetery near the coast, rows of simple wooden crosses in fresh earth. Helmets sit on some of the markers, dog tags hanging from the crosspieces. The sea is visible in the distance, the same water they crossed to get here. I stand among the graves for a long time, my camera hanging at my side, unable to frame what I am seeing. Some moments are too heavy for pictures. I think of the men in the landing craft, the boy from Iowa, the sergeant who kept checking his watch. I do not know how many of them are here, but I know the number is too high. The graves stretch out in neat rows, each one a story that will never be told now. Weeks after Normandy, back aboard a transport heading toward England, I am allowed access to a makeshift darkroom in the ship's hold. The red safe light casts everything in the color of blood and memory. I hang wet prints on a line like laundry, watching the images emerge from the chemical bath. Soldiers climbing ladders, men in water, the medic's hands working on a wound, the German prisoners with their hands up, the little girl with chocolate on her face. Each photograph is a fragment of truth, but none of them tell the whole story. No camera could. 3 weeks later, I see one of my photographs on the front page of an American newspaper. It shows soldiers running from a landing craft, enemy fire all around them, the moment caught between life and death. The caption beneath reads, "First wave hits Normandy beaches, June 6, 1944. Below the fold is news of casualty counts that seem to grow every day. A soldier sitting next to me on a train holds up the same newspaper and says, "My brother was there. I wonder if he made it." I do not tell him that I was there too, that I may have photographed his brother, may have documented the moment his brother died. Some truths are better left unspoken. It is 1973, and I am no longer young. My hands have grown steady again, but for different reasons now. Sitting at my desk in a small house, I pull out a wooden box, filled with old photographs from the war. The images are yellowed, the edges curled, some of them faded beyond clear recognition. I hold one up to the light. The beach at Normandy, soldiers in the water, smoke rising from the cliffs. I took this picture from a landing craft as we approached the shore. The soldier in the foreground is the boy from Iowa. I never knew his name. I hold the photograph between my fingers and try to remember if he made it. I do not think he did. On my desk now sits a large black and white print, carefully preserved in a protective sleeve. It shows the beach at Normandy the moment the ramp came down, that first instant of contact between the invasion force and the German defenses. Shells explode in the water, men run in different directions, some falling, some still moving forward. The photograph is a split second of chaos and courage, fear and duty all compressed into a single moment. I have looked at this image thousands of times, but it never becomes clearer. War, I have learned, is not something that photographs can ever truly explain. All a camera can do is bear witness, and sometimes bearing witness is all we have left to offer to the dead.